Nice night, but now I've got a busy morning. I'm gonna go get coffee and then I'm gonna have to run around town to get fuel and some additional food. And this is where I really miss Jen, because I could send her for coffee and I could be finishing my edits right now. Okay, and here we go on round 2, fuel and food. Also, I found out it's probably going to start snowing Monday, Tuesday, so this could get fun. Yeah, so I like the medium ones because they fit my stove better. So I'm currently in the middle of triaging here. I'm going to leave in about 2 hours, and then it'll be 63 miles to Needles, where there's an outpost. I'll charge batteries, grab food, and then continue on. Unfortunately, things are looking a little dark right at the moment between the foot pain and the encroaching weather, considering, it's November. The outlook doesn't look great, but day by day. Okay, got my food, got my fuel, took my daily ibuprofen. Onwards to Needles. So unfortunately, it looks like I am probably walking out another ATV area. I mean, it is Moab, and Jeeps and ATV rentals are one of their big money makers. If I sound a little bit down out here, it's just because I love the state of just kind of existing on trail. Moving and all the little indignities and adventures that come along with living out here day to day. The entire 3 weeks I was off trail rehabbing the rib, just could not wait to get back out here. And this damn foot issue. It's even the middle toe pain thing on the right I can manage okay, but the left, it's just been a nightmare since I've been coming back. I'm still hoping it's going to improve, but I'm starting to worry that maybe it's just staying the same or even getting worse. Right now, the hopeful path is I'm out here for, another month or so until Thanksgiving when Jen comes and gets me. We'll have to see. I mean, we're at least considering what we're going to have to do if I have to bail off trail. In that case, I'm going to have to do the whole rental car thing to get back to my parents and drive back to SoCal, which is not something I even want to contemplate right now. I have been struggling with the concept of going back for the off season for a while here. I don't mind putting up with a bit of pain, but if it starts to feel like I'm potentially doing damage or things that are going to hold me back, for future adventures, at that point, that would be a season ender. And it's also the end of October. Weather could make this a no-go at any point. I was talking to some hunters the other day, and they said, yeah, last year, 9 inches of snow where I was talking to them. Jen and I will make whatever needs to happen. I'm not worried about that, but I just so badly want to be back to where I was before Colorado Springs. AKA able to walk without severe pain every step and just enjoy being out here for however long I have left. I really thought when I came off for the rib and I was going to have a few weeks that the foot thing was going to improve. I didn't go overboard icing or anything because, like I said, I usually find that time fixes most things, but tendons are one of those stubborn injuries. Could always be worse. I've had Achilles issues after 500 miles, and that's really depressing when you're looking at an entire season ahead of you when you've got some big goal. But still, and this is just kind of a bummer because I know I'm not going to make the goal that I was hoping to make this year, which is, San Francisco. So, okay, I've already made freaking traffic and construction noise. So I've already made, 35 plus 100 miles or 3,500 plus miles. Distance wise, I've made what I needed to as far as, being able to divide this up and finish it next year. But still, I was feeling so high and happy going through Colorado Springs because felt like I might actually make my stretch goal, and even if I didn't, I mean, I was going to make it well into Nevada. So I don't know, Needles is probably somewhat of a decision point, honestly, because the next two sections are pretty long and fairly remote. I tend to be a slight bit on the stubborn side when it comes to, injuries like this, just because for years I had just unending knee pain, between my fall and when I got that surgery, no matter what I did. So choice was go out and be in pain or don't go out, and I went out. As long as it's not doing more damage, I mean, I'd rather be out here than sitting around in civilization. One day at a time. Okay, I am not happy about this, but I had to face facts. I hiked about 4 or 5 miles out of town, and my feet are they've gotten worse. Even with the ibuprofen, I'm in a lot of pain, and I shouldn't be pushing it. I'm going to do serious damage. So it's now the next day. As you can see, I am currently here in Moab. Unfortunately, the only thing that makes sense is to pull the plug and head back into civilization. I've tried, I stretched, I iced, I tried to baby my feet as well as I can, but at this point, it's looking like if I continue pushing it, I'm likely to do serious damage, and that's likely to affect future stuff. Mentally, I'm very much not ready to be off trail. When I was off trail recovering from the rib thing, all I wanted was to get back on trail, get back into my routine. On the plus side, I did everything I could. I came back out. I had a couple of spectacular nights, got a much better Utah experience than that previous section. So at least there's that. After I kind of came to the realization yesterday after 5 miles, it was hurting a lot after 2 ibuprofen, which shouldn't have been the case. I ended up hiking out to reception, calling Jen and saying, look, this is what's going on. Her thing was, well, I seem to have somewhat of a reputation for stubbornly pushing through pain. So if I was saying the pain was too much, then yeah, absolutely stop. Not that there was really an option, but hey, at least that makes me feel better, right? This is throwing our plans in absolute disarray, but the reality is they were going to anyway. We had planned to have her come out over Thanksgiving because she had a week off, and it's not looking like the weather was going to hold for me to make it that long. We'll see, but with the mountains ahead, Bob Palin, the water cache guy, was going, yeah. So we'll rearrange things. I was looking at trying to get a bus back to Colorado Springs, and that was going to be like this 16-hour epic. So Jen actually is driving out here right now. She's going to take me back to Southern California. I'll have about 2 weeks hanging out there with her, with nothing other than the layers I have, because everything's city in Colorado Springs, Canyon City with my parents. And then I'll fly out, grab the Jeep, and that'll be the usual seasonal dismount. This was not the way I wanted this season to end, but hey, I never really want the seasons to end. I like being out, I like being on trail, and the thought of going back to civilization, having to do my wilderness first aid research and some other stuff and deal with the crowds and everything. So I'm having a bit of a rough time now, but I'll manage. It'll be good to be able to see Jen. And yeah, onward to the next thing. We've got plans coming up over Christmas, and now this actually puts the week of Thanksgiving in play. So we'll see. Maybe we do a paddle trip. Probably not going to be able to walk by then. Maybe we go diving. As for the rest of this trip, I made it more than far enough than I needed to in order to be able to finish things off next season. Obviously, my stretch goal was to do the entire thing, but I knew that was a stretch goal from the get-go, so I'd always planned, okay, if I don't make it all the way, I just go back after I finish the Yukon, come back out wherever, finish it off. So Moab will make that easier than going to Needles, which was part of the math yesterday as I was sitting there in so much pain. And also that gives me, 4 days, 60 miles out of here, 2 needles, at which point then I have to be able to do a longer food carry for 130 miles. And then again after Hanksville. That would be a rough adjustment coming straight back out after sitting in a boat for many months. So that'll be the plan. Finish in San Francisco sometime next year. I will be probably back in Moab in early September is my best guess. I'll have that nailed down a little more when we get a little further on our Yukon planning. And yeah, I'll have about 1,300-ish miles left, I think, of the red line. I made it 3,600 miles this year. I mean, while I am disappointed that I didn't make my stretch goal, that is something to be pretty proud of. It was a really massive, fun adventure overall with the rough spots, and we just got to meet like so many cool people, and yeah, it was a fun one. Not something I'm going to do again anytime soon, but very happy I did it. So sadly, as far as this series, I'll probably do one more update once I'm off trail and the dust is settled, and then it won't continue until, like I said, next September. But we do have a lot of other things coming up though. So for the record, I made it 3,600 miles. If I had stuck to roads and not done all the ADT wiggles, it was going to be 3,000 to, go from Rehoboth over to San Francisco. And at least a couple of people that I saw who had reported their mileage reported around 3,500. So lengthwise, distance-wise, I did a full traverse. It's just, I wanted to do the cool trail. And that's not something I regret. I really enjoyed a lot of the little flangs and side things on the ADT. It became a running joke that every time somebody was like, oh, that's stupid. Why would you go that way? Just take this flatter, more direct way. The part they would have skipped was the cool thing. I mean, look at the Colorado National Monument or that whole thing I've been going through the last couple of days. So Jen is currently just a couple hours away. We're going to be doing a 10-hour drive to get back to Southern California tomorrow. It will be good to see her now instead of waiting another month, so there's at least that perk. Channel-wise, like I said, I'll have an update in a couple of weeks, but we do have a lot of plans coming up. We're going to be doing an Indonesia dive trip over Christmas. We're probably going to get up to some trouble over Thanksgiving now. Next spring, I'm going to do some shorter trail through hike like the Wachita, something like that. Before the Yukon, we are going to spend Jen's entire summer paddling the Yukon from Whitehorse out to Iamak on a canoe. We're going to have a Starlink Mini with us, so the episode should come out relatively live while we are up there. And the moment I get back after that, I'm going to be right back out here and then finishing up the last 1,300 miles or so. So I'm bummed. I mentally just want to be out hiking, but is what it is. I mean, I'm lucky I get to do this stuff, and I'm lucky I had this problem late in the year instead of early. If I was in Maryland or something and started to have this issue, that would have been really a bummer. Here I had a nice full summer, and I'm, missing a couple of weeks of not so great weather probably. And it is time for the long drive back to Southern California.